Like the folks you meet on, like to plant my feet on the Brooklyn Bridge. Brooklyn, Brooklyn, Brooklyn. Shame on you when you step through the old dirty.
Hello, everyone. Happy Tuesday. So, sorry in advance if you hear all the noise and running around and kids sounding like they're at an amusement park. Today is a snow day, so they have off today. So, we're back for part two and the final part. And I just want to say sorry that this video is so long, but I wanted you guys to see pretty much how hard I was working on this design. Starting over, I had to drill off some. If I would have left every clip of what I recorded, this video would have been about maybe 3 hours. That's how much footage I have of me doing these nails. That took almost 2 weeks. So we're gonna get right into the last part and everything that has happened, and this chapter will be done and over with. So I left off that January 31st basically was the last day that I reached out to them because it was just getting annoying, hounding for information. Like, we're about 2 weeks away and we still don't have a call time. We don't know anything. So the nail artist, I believe the nail artist that was working the event too, that I met for the McCart event, I believe she had a personal relationship with some type of relationship where she was very close with the other founder, where she would talk to them, because she was like feeding me information. She was just like, oh, hey, I've heard this, so I just wanted to let you know. But I didn't take that as pound of gold or whatever. Like, I didn't stick with that information because I didn't want to be like, oh, well, this person said that, and they're like, well, you didn't get that okay from us. So, it becomes finicky and all that. So she was basically telling me that we had like 6 minutes to do our presentation. And I was just like, wow, 6 minutes is a lot of time. I was like really searching what to do for 6 minutes. Then it was down to 2 to 3 minutes. 2 to 3 minutes seemed very reasonable. That's enough time for the model to walk the runway and to stop and pose with the nails, because that is the main attraction of my presentation. It is the nails. Then February 1st at 1 o'clock in the morning. I didn't see this email until about 7 o'clock because that's what time I start waking up and starting my day. So I see the email and I see that if you have one look, you have 1 minute and 30 seconds. So I was like, there is no way on God's green earth that I just sat here and paid $300 for 1 minute and 30 seconds. For all of that, I could have just put the $300 into production, like going to find a photographer or videographer and having them shoot the model for an hour or two or whatever their rate is. Like, I was like, there is no way that I paid $300 for 1 minute and 30 seconds. I just thought that was like highway robbery. So on the call time, it's basically where you're at in the show, because they're doing two shows. One is at 3 p.m., one is at 6 p.m. I'm in the 3 p.m. show. I believe I was like number 5. They have the makeup artist, the lead makeup artist, and who's sponsoring the event. They have their information, the hairstylist information. If you need music, you need to contact this DJ and you need to give in your music by, I think, February 6th. So you need to give your music by February 6th, but my music was pretty much already done. February 6th, the music needed to be handed in. February 3rd, you needed to contact the lead makeup artist and hairstylist about what was on the moon board. Now, I've heard the term moon board before, but I didn't know what it was until I seen it. So basically, they have a moon board is like the looks that they're going for or whatever. So this is my first time actually seeing a moon board. When I saw the looks, I was like, yeah, this really doesn't go with my presentation, but you have to pick it as close to your presentation. So I sent it to the model like, hey, you pretty much know what I'm looking for, you model. So I think I'm gonna go with makeup look 2. But I just want to make sure you're comfortable with it, because although you're representing my brand, I still want you to be comfortable. If you feel like you're gonna look ugly, then I don't want you wearing it or rocking it, because I don't want you messing up my stuff. So I let her pick out whichever hairstyle she felt comfortable with, and she agreed to the makeup. So my name was spelled wrong on the call sheet. And along with that call sheet, there was no time that we had to be there. It just said 3:00 was showtime, and this is your number, and this is that. So I emailed them like, hey, there's no call time, and you guys spelled my name wrong. I get it. Technology can be a pain with the predictive texting, but let's be for real. My name is in my brand. When you look up my Instagram, Khalesia, my YouTube, Khalesia, my email, Khalesia. You couldn't copy and paste. Like, how the hell did you mess that up? So they said, we're sorry. So I sent them an email like, you guys spelled my name wrong, and also there's no call time. What time do we have to be there? So they said, we're sorry, they spelled my name wrong again. And I'm like, so now everything that I'm writing, I'm putting my name in bold letters. Like, I can't remember who told me this, but I remember like people mispronouncing my name wasn't a big deal. Like, unless it was like far off. Like, some people would be like, oh, Kalisha. I'm like, okay, it's not that bad. But somebody like was really far off with my name, and I wouldn't like, unless somebody called me like Calcia, and I'm like, that's really not my name. Like, you're doing too much. So anyway, this person I met, they asked me what was my name. They was like, is it Kalisha or is it Khalesia? And I was like, it's Khalesia. And I was like, oh, it doesn't really matter. And she was like, no, it does matter, because that is your name. Like, that is your birthright. Like, that is what your parents named you. So ever since then, I'm like heavy on pronouncing my name right, making sure it's spelled right. And my name is in everything. Like, it's on my Instagram, it's on my TikTok, it's in my email, it's on my Linktree. My name is everywhere. So it's like, y'all spelled my name wrong. And already I was irritated, because one thing about me, I hate having to. Somebody called me a nag one time, and that stuck with me forever. So now with everything I do, I try not to be a nag. So I'm always like very calculated in what I do and how I do it, so that I don't get labeled as a nag, or so that I don't feel like I have to chase you. And that's what I felt like. I'm like, why am I chasing y'all for this information? This is ridiculous. So if you guys remember, I sent another message on Instagram, and February 1st, now I'm not learning that there's another lady involved, the other co-founder. Like, now I'm starting to find out that she's handling stuff. And also the person that referred me, she's been like calling me, venting me, because she's just like, it's some BS going on. I'm ready to quit the show, but I can't quit the show because I'm in a contract with them. And I'm like, well, I'm not in a contract with them, but I'm still just gonna do what I need to do, because I didn't come this far to just turn around. Some odd years ago, I would have been like, yeah, F this, I'm over it. So the lady, she sends me a voice note on Instagram, and she has like an attitude. And not only am I dealing with Fashion Week, but I have some court stuff going on that has resurfaced from 10 years ago. So now I'm kind of like, I don't know what's going to happen with this court situation. And the dynamics have changed of my life from 10 years ago. I'm married. I have 4 kids. I have a kid that is considered special needs, and he has programs he goes to. So it's just like, I'm not disposable to you guys like how it was a while ago. So not only do I have this going on, I'm dealing with something else from another model. So there's a lot of stuff going on. And not to mention, my kids are still sick. So it's just like, the world is crumbling and it's just caving in on me. So she kind of like, she sends a voice note and she's like, well, I don't understand why you're asking me for this information. You responded to everybody. And she has like attitude. So I text her, I'm like, this message was from January 31st. Well, actually, she sent it February 2nd. She sent the voice note. I'm like, this message is from 2 days ago. So I screenshot and I underline it. And I say, yes, I have received it. You're responding to a message from 2 days ago. So about maybe a couple of hours later, she calls me. I wasn't going to answer because like I said, I'm dealing with some personal stuff, like, and I'm still trying to, make sure I'm professional and still be in 10 other places at one time. So she calls me and she's like, I just want to know what's going on. Let's communicate. I can't talk because I had surgery, so I can't use one side of my body. So I'm like, oh, okay, I hope you feel better, whatever. At this point, I'm like, I really don't give a fuck. Like, oh well, you decided to, like, did you know when you was supposed to have surgery? Because why would you plan surgery in the middle of planning an event? Like, unless it was something dire, I don't know. But it's just like that shit don't make no sense. So she calls me and I hate when people talk to me like a child because when people see me, they think like I'm a teenager. Whether I look like a teenager or not, whether I am a teenager, like respect me. You want respect, so respect me. Don't talk to me like I'm a child or like I'm dumb. I hate that. That is like the quickest way for me to get an attitude. I'm very patient. I'm lying. I'm really not that patient, but I'm very cool. I'm like real cordial. But the moment you start talking to me like I'm dumb or I'm a child, I'm going to lose it. So she's talking to me like I'm a child. So then I start talking. She starts talking over me. I'm like, nah, we're not going to do that. I'm like, I gave you, the opportunity to talk. Let me talk. So I'm just like, you're responding to something from 2 days ago. And I'm like, I had to like, and this is when I kind of started like explaining, like, I've been asking for this information. I understand you were sick, but I'm a big procrastinator. So, I'm just trying to make sure I'm on top of things. That's one less person you have to worry about. So I was just like, you did seem kind of hostile in the voice note. And she was like, I'm hostile. I'm like, I didn't say you were hostile. I said, you seem like you're kind of hostile. I'm like, I am going through a lot personally. So maybe my, judgment is a little cloudy. But, you're responding to something from 2 days ago. Like, if you would have looked at the message, you would have seen that I sent that on January 1st. I'm like, you didn't send the information until February 1st at 1 a.m. in the morning. Like, who the hell is awake at 1 a.m. in the morning? I mean, if you're in another country, I get it, but we're not. Like, we're in the tri-state area. So, anyway, we hash it out, and she's just like, if you need anything, don't hesitate to call me. It's going to be a good show. I don't want you to think that I'm not on top of things. So I was like, I never said, you weren't on top of things. So, is there something you want to like tell me? Because you're like starting to put words in my mouth. And I guess you realize that you're not on top of things. So anyway, we're down to like the week before. So I'm asking my model, did she get her information? Because I was like, hey, let's schedule a FaceTime call or a Zoom call or something, and I want you to hear the music. So I was like, hey, this is the music that is coming from. So, just start getting your mindset. I'm like, yo, you had a hard week. Make sure you put all of that, negativity and channel that energy into the performance. Like, just leave it all out on the floor. So, we FaceTime and we talk, and this is like the first time we're talking on the phone and, live. So I'm like, did you get your call time? Because I have to be there 9:00. So she's like, no, I sent an email, still not nothing. So I was like, oh, okay, well, hopefully you get something. Well, I'll be there like probably 8:30 because I'm coming from so far. And so she's like, she lives further than me. She lives in Philly. So she's like, yeah, I'll just come early too. This way we're here at the same time or whatever. So while we're on the phone, she finally gets an email and we're talking, we're going over everything. and we're just touching base. So I think I hit her up the next day. I think we talked on a Tuesday. I hit her up maybe on a Wednesday. She didn't respond, and Thursday she sends me. She texts me. She's like, I just wanted to check on you mentally to see how you're doing because we're getting close to showtime. So I'm like, um, I feel like something is gonna happen. Like I don't. It's not good or bad. It's just like I feel like something's gonna happen. And also on Saturday, oh, to mention in the email, there's a mandatory custom fitting. So I'm like, I can't come to that on Saturday because I was actually scheduled to work at another fashion show with another nail tech on Saturday. So I'm like, I don't think I'm gonna be there in time, although my call time is 10 o'clock. You guys are at 4. I don't know where it's at in the city. I still didn't get the location. I just had the time. So, I was talking to the founder, like, my model we have everything. We're good to go. The stuff that she's wearing is coming out of her closet. Like, if it doesn't fit, then that's kind of skeptical, so I was like, I don't think she's going to be able to come either because I think she wound up having a fashion show. So everybody is busy the Saturday before. It's fashion week, so there's a bunch of shows going on all over New York, like not just in the city but all over New York. There's a bunch of shows happening. So she was like, okay, that's fine, you don't have to come to the fitting. So not only do I find out that my model has COVID, but my daughter has a audition for regional choir on Saturday too. So my daughter, she's so helpful. She's like, oh, why don't I call Nana? Why don't I call my Gami, my godfather? Like, let me see if somebody. And I was like, you're just 11. Like, chill out. We're gonna get you there. Like, don't worry. You're gonna make it to your audition. So I wound up not going to the show on Saturday because I wanted to take my daughter to the audition, and in the event that she made it and I needed to fill out paperwork and make payments, I just wanted to make sure that I was there to make sure that she goes on to the next step or whatever it was. So the model tells me that she has COVID, and she's like, "Oh, I'm just gonna keep testing and testing until I'm not positive. I mean, not until I'm negative or whatever." So I'm just like, I don't think COVID works like that. Like, I'm just gonna call, the founder and let her know, like, yo, I can't do the show. Like, so now we come into, the fun part, the nitty gritty. I call the founder and I'm like, and she's like, hi, Khaleesi, how are you? So I'm like, I don't know. And one thing about me, if I'm angry or I'm sad, I kind of start laughing. And I think it's like laughing to keep from crying, or like laughing to like balance myself because I want to like bug out. But I know I can't. So I start laughing. I don't know. Like, I'm not sure. So, so I'm like, hey, I just found out that the model has COVID. So I'm not going to be able to do the show. So she's like, please don't do this. Don't pull out of the show. What can I do to help you? So I'm just like, so she's like, send me your theme. Like, I'll go get you, whatever you need. So I was like, it's not about the clothes. Like, cause I had an extra outfit already. So I had went to Walmart and found a white shirt and blue jeans on clearance. Like, I'm like, it's not the outfit. It's the nails. Like, I took 2 weeks to make these nails. And as you guys can see, like, I had to start over. I had to drill. There were tips that weren't glued properly. Gel polish was bubbling and wrinkling. It was just a lot that went into these nails. So she was like, well, you're going to have to come to the fitting on Saturday. And I'm like, I already told you I couldn't come to the fitting because I had prior engagements. And I'm like, I can't even go to that show because now my daughter has a audition for regional choir. So she's like, well, you're going to have to, be there before 4 o'clock. And I'm like, there's no way I'm going to be there before 4 o'clock. Like, I don't even know where this audition is yet. Like, that was the thing. It was just like, my daughter had an audition. I didn't know the time. Nobody knew the time. Nobody knew where it was at. We just knew that it was happening Saturday. And if it happened to rain or snow really bad, the rain date was Sunday. So I'm like, I just can't do it. So she's like, well, we could send you another model. No, she was like, you can come pick out another model. So I'm like, pick out another model the day before? Like, that's crazy. So I was like, well, give me somebody today. So it went from, I'm gonna help you, let me help you because I know you worked hard and I really want you to show your stuff, to I'm not going through 60 models information to send to you. Huh? Like, I thought you were supposed to be helping me. You really want me to do the show, but you don't want to help me? Like, huh? So I'm like going against my judgment because I know these nails took 2 weeks. So I'm just like, just send me somebody today. So she's like, I'm not going through, you just have to come Saturday. You just have to come Saturday. I'm like, I cannot come Saturday. Like, it's just like not impossible for me to come Saturday. So I feel the conversation, like I feel the volume is about to start raising. I feel like I'm about to start spazzing. So I said, you know what? I'm getting very overwhelmed. Let me call you back because this is an industry that I really want to work in, and I don't want to make enemies, and I don't want to, disrespect anybody, and I don't want to be rude. So I'm going to go calm myself down, and then I'm going to call you back. So I wound up talking to the model. I think I wound up talking to my husband. I wound up talking to my mom, and I'm just trying to explain, like, yo, there's no way that I'm going to be able to do these nails in one day. Like, I have to be there at 9 o'clock. Showtime is at 3, which means that I probably need to be finished these nails by maybe 12. These nails took 2 weeks. There's no room for error. Also, way before show day, a part of my presentation, I was going to bring my brothers in so that they can, be a part of the presentation. I even asked one of the founders, I said, hey, if I needed more people in my presentation, do they have to be a ticket, or can they just come be a part of the presentation and then leave? She was like, they need a ticket. Backstage is really limited space. So one thing about me, I have a really great memory. I'm getting older, so my memory is starting to, fade a little bit. But I have a great memory, and I listen when people talk. That's why people get in trouble when they talk to me, because I'm going to remember stuff you say. So I asked to bring on extra people. You told me backstage is limited, but you're going to guarantee that I have space backstage to do nails? Like, I need space, I need outlets, like I need all this stuff to do my nails or whatever. So, she's saying if you can't come Saturday, then come earlier on Sunday. Now I'm like, if this is something I pay for, why am I gotta bend to make all these accommodations to make sure that I'm a part of the show? Like, you guys should be bending for me. So I'm like, come early on Sunday. So she wants me to come early on Sunday and pick out of 60 people. Not only do I gotta pick out of 60 people, I gotta size them, and then I gotta do all this work over again. That shit sounds crazy. It just doesn't make sense to me. So I calmed down a little bit and I talked to my husband, and he's like, well, what you want to do? I'm like, no, I'm not doing the show. Like, I'm not about to half-ass it, do some work. Like, this is not me trying to, do a little video for YouTube and how it comes out is how it comes out because I'm going to keep working at it and keep progressing. No, this is allegedly Cosmopolitan, which there's no way in hell they're Cosmopolitan acting like this. Because I called Cosmopolitan in New York and they had no idea of a fashion week. So I even emailed Cosmopolitan, wrote them on Instagram. Instagram and the email never got back to me. But calling the Cosmopolitan office, and they were like, well, we don't know about any fashion show, but you can email this person. They should get back to you and let you know about, if there's a fashion show going on. So, yeah, they're not a part of Cosmopolitan. I don't even know why they did that. They had some celebrities from Love and Hip Hop, the show on VH1, Mariah Lynn. She tagged the actual Cosmopolitan page. If you go on her page right now, there's no footage of her at Cosmopolitan Fashion Week. So, yeah, they're basically frauds. So, anyway, I called the lady back and I'm like, you know what? I just want to thank you for the opportunity, but I am not going to do the show. So she keeps she's saying you don't have any faith. And one thing about me is I'm very religious, I'm very spiritual. Last year was a rough year. For a moment, I did like lose my faith in God. So, I was kind of like in a dark space, like, kind of F this all religion thing, if God is supposed to be like this, just that whole, thing. So for somebody to sit here and say, I don't have faith, yeah, that made my blood boil because that's something I pride myself in. Like, I really lost, kind of my way, but I found my way again. And, I'm doing my best to live, righteously. I know I cuss a lot, but I do want to make it to heaven. So anyway, she's like, you don't have any faith and you just don't want to do the show. About the fourth, fifth time of her saying you don't have no faith and you don't want to be in the show, I lost it. Because how do you get I don't want to be in the show? I was harassing you for information for about 2 weeks. Does that sound like somebody that don't want to be in a show? She kept saying that. So she's like, well, you can't. And mind you, I wasn't even going to ask for a refund. I was just going to take my loss and that's that. But my husband was like, try to get your money back. The model was like, who did you pay through? Or, how did you pay? I said through PayPal. She was like, oh, you should definitely try to get your money back. They're good for you getting your money back for stuff like that. So I was like, all right, I'm gonna try. So she's like, there's money spent. So I'm like, I spent money too. So she's like, you just don't want to do the show. I'm like, it's not that. I'm like, I'm ready to go. The nails is done. I have the jacket. I have the thing. You're blaming me for something that you provided. Your model got sick. Like, I didn't get sick. I don't have COVID. I'm not trying to, blame her either. But it's like, yo, what do you want me to do? I made the nails to fit her. Like, are you not understanding? I'm like, yo, I know you know about custom. So she's kind of getting into how she's been in the business for 15, 30 years. I don't give a shit about that. She's been in the business for 15 years. The other one been in for 30. I don't care if y'all been doing this since the Pope was born. I really don't care. That doesn't mean anything. The thing is, y'all know about custom. These are custom. This took time. If this was a designer who made clothes, you was gonna tell them just to go out and find the fabric again when they probably imported that fabric from Paris or some shit. Like, so why are you guys doing this to me? So I was like, you know what? I'm really not trying to make no enemies. And because if we have to cross paths in the future, I don't want it to be no tension. So I'm just going to say thank you. So she's yelling. So she keeps saying, you just don't want to do the show. I'm like, it's nothing about the show. Like, because you're focused on an outfit. My presentation is not about an outfit. It is about the nails. Because I'm like, what are you going to go do? Go to the store, go get some press-on nails? No, they're not going to equate to what I did. So I think I like screamed thank you. She wound up hanging up on me. So I call PayPal. I open a dispute. Well, I tell them the situation. So they tell me I can open up a dispute. So I open up a dispute. And later on that day, the country bumpkin wound up calling me. And as soon as she gets on the phone, she's like, there is no refunds. So I tell her that was never in writing. She goes, well, yeah, but the money is accounted for. I said, okay, that's nice. I said, but I did not get sick. Now, granted, I know COVID is still alive and well, but, you're not thinking about that. I didn't account for if something were to happen and, me not doing this show. I didn't account for that. They didn't account for it either. In the event that someone gets sick, that there's a backup or something happens, that this is, what we're going to do. Nobody accounted for that. I know I didn't. And obviously they didn't either. I can't speak for them. But, everything that has portrayed, we can assume that they didn't account for that. So she's calling me. She's like, we can still provide you a model with the hair and makeup. I said, I can care less about the hair and makeup. It's the thing that I custom made these nails. And I said, you who have worked in the fashion industry and you to claim you're a designer, you know all about custom. So she was about to go into that. I got 30 and I cut her ass off because I don't care about that. I said, I cannot create 2 weeks of work in a couple of hours because while I'm creating the nails, I have to make sure there's time for hair and makeup. And the other lady was like, well, you don't have to worry about hair and makeup. Yes, I do. Because how much time does she need in hair and makeup? how much time do I have to for her to put these clothes on, and then how much time do I have to put the nails on? So I have to consider all of this. It's a part of my production. What do you mean I that doesn't have anything to do with me? If it's my damn presentation, yes it does. So back to this country bumpkin. So she's like, well, the money is accounted for and we don't want to have to cross your name out of the program. So I said, yeah, I know people that, work with and do programs and shows, and they do it all the time. I get it. Money was spent. Mind you, I'm still not asking for money. I'm just saying that I cannot do the show. So, now so I told her, I'm like, hopefully me and you can, have a respectable conversation. Hopefully you're not going to disrespect my craft and disrespect my religion like your partner is, because that's basically what she was doing. It's not that I don't want to do the show because I was hounding you guys for information. Well, you wasn't hounding me because you didn't call me. I said, after a while, you weren't the person dealing with Instagram and dealing with the emails. The other lady was. Well, you should have called when you had a problem. I said, you only deal with the money, so why would I call you? So now she wants to argue her position. Once again, I don't care what your position is. I dealt with you with the money. That's it. I'm just letting you know I'm not doing the show. So if you got to cross my name off, cross my name off. Do what you got to do. So we're dealing with PayPal, and I did get half my money back. PayPal denied the 150 because they said first they said that I didn't put the right description for the refund. And I'm like, well, you guys did that, because when I called, I didn't even know how to dispute. I never did a dispute on PayPal, so I didn't really even understood how it worked. I never did it. So I got half my money back, and then I called PayPal again because I just wanted them to explain to me how they came about the decision. Wasn't even looking for the money back. I just was like, just explain how you came to this conclusion. And the lady was like, well, you said this, this, and this, and this, this, and this. And I was just like, if I, become a business owner and I do PayPal, I like learning from both sides. So I want to learn from the consumer side and I want to learn from the seller side. So the lady wound up fixing whatever the description was. But today I just got the email that said that they denied it because I didn't have purchase protection, whatever. I got some of the money back. So anyway, we have a PayPal. I opened a dispute on PayPal. PayPal tells me that I have to basically, I guess, negotiate in so many words. So this is when the true colors came out, because they're telling me that, oh, you're supposed to tell us about you're not doing the show on February 7th, not February 9th. How the hell was I supposed to know this girl had COVID on February 7th? I didn't even talk to her on February 7th. I talked to her on the 9th. So I'm like, I found out when you guys found out. As soon as I found out, I think I called them like an hour later. So the lady's telling me she's not going to give me a dime. She's not giving me a one red cent. Now that we're in this PayPal dispute and we're on this board, we're on this thread or whatever, she's telling me she offered me half. In the conversation, she never offered me half. She said that it was non-refundable and the money was accounted for. Now you want to offer me half? So I said, well, when was this half? Was it the two conversations with the other founder, or was it the conversation with you? Or was it the beginning of this thread? Because nobody ever mentioned half. I would have gladly accepted half and walked away. But because y'all want to talk, as soon as I got on the phone, y'all talk about money, money, money. I'm gonna try to go for the whole thing. So, yeah, they're basically like, you're making up stuff, and they're not responsible for my personal debt. Who said I was in debt? So they're like, you're being unreasonable. How am I being unreasonable? So now they're saying I'm taking it personal. Mind you, they blocked me on social media. How am I taking it personal? You guys are acting like kids. You're blocking me on social media, and like, you're telling me I'm not getting one red cent. You're saying that I just didn't want to do the show. No, you guys are moving funny, and probably people were pulling out of the show and they want their money back because they realize you weren't who you said you were. Even the other nail artist, she had to pull out of the show because she had some family stuff going on. Not that she didn't want to do the show, but because she has some family issues going on. So it's just like, things were just happening, things were just crumbling, like, it just, so anyway, it wasn't my fault why I didn't want to do Fashion Week. I just did not want to try to do 2 weeks of work in a couple of hours and then slap my name on it. And then after the show, because a lot of people were saying, a lot of people were like hitting me up and they were like, oh, we love the show that you did on Sunday. So I was like, I was not at the show on Sunday. Please, moving forward, do not tag me because they blocked me from seeing anything. I was not at the show due to things that happened behind the scenes. So I think I had to send that, a couple of times. A photographer, swore I was at the show. He was like, but your name was on the program. I said, but my name wasn't at the I mean, my name was there, but I was not there. So he was like, well, he sent me like a picture. He was like, is this you? And I was like, does that even look like it has anything to do with me? Like, do you see nails? So I was like, no, I wasn't there. Some things happened behind the scenes and I wasn't there. So he showed me a picture of the program. My name was still on the program. And from what I heard, that day was so chaotic. So they wanted me to come earlier on Sunday to pick a model. Call time was 9 o'clock. They did not show up to let people in until 11 o'clock. If I was there, I would have been so pissed off because I'm coming from like the Poconos almost. So from where I live to where the venue was about an hour and 15 minutes. No traffic because New York has traffic. And once you get to a certain part of Jersey, because you're getting close to New York, there's traffic. So that's 1 hour and 15 minutes, no traffic. And I mean, it would have been early Sunday morning. So I probably would have got there in, an hour maybe, probably. But anyway, if I would have got there early, because I would have got there before 9 o'clock to try to pick out a model and do these nails. You guys didn't get there till 11 to start letting the hairstylist and the makeup artist in to do their thing. And I saw some footage, and then the person that referred me, she was just like, it was a mess. She was one of the sponsors, and she was telling me that it didn't even look like they used any of her products. Like the models looked ashy and they just looked a mess. The hair was a mess, the makeup was a mess, and she was just like, I'm so upset because I spent money for my brand to be represented and it wasn't represented. And the founders were being very rude and nasty. I heard that, there was supposed to be food promised to like the makeup artists and the models and, the designers. There was no food for them. So, I was really like upset that I couldn't do the show, but I think I was more upset. So I think I was just more upset about how they were handling everything, especially, once I couldn't do the show because it just seemed like they were just money, 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 because that was the first thing that they came up with when I, reached out to them. Not to mention, the day of the call time, um, the original model that they paired me up with, they CC'd me and was because the other nail artist she's supposed to work for, she's out of the show now. So she's like, well, what am I supposed to do? So they was like, well, talk to Khaleesi. This is when they spell my name right. They're like, talk to Khaleesi. She has all your information. So I call her and I'm like, well, what's going on? Are you going to be like walking with me? Because if you are going to be walking with me, then that means that my 1 minute and 30 seconds has now turned into 3 minutes or whatever. So I'm like, do you still remember like what my concept was? So she's like, yes. Yeah. So I was just like, you know what? I'll just do like a shorter look, and I'm like, I'll just do like a late, like a late 90s theme for you or whatever, something short and quick, like not too much. So she was like, I would really appreciate it. Cause I was like, yo, you're a model, you want to get your resume. This is supposed to be quote unquote cosmopolitan. So, yo, like, let's work together. So I emailed them like, was this a mistake? Because by the time the message got sent to me, it was like a blank message. So then I called the country bumpkin and she's like, oh, that was a mistake. That was a mistake. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. So that was just, it was, everything just started like just becoming a hot ass mess. So, and of course, I called the person that referred me, and I'm like, yo, I don't even understand what's going on right now. They tried to give me another model, then they said it's an accident. Everything is an accident. they've been having mistakes and accidents since early November when I talked to them, or probably like mid-November when I talked to them. But I was just mad at the fact that these were black people, black women at that, and they were acting like this. And it's so hard enough for black people, and especially black women in any industry. And the fact that they would act like that was just mind blowing. It was just like so disgusting to me. I was really like heated. If anything I was heated about and upset about, it was that, because I was just like, I can't believe y'all are acting like this. I can't believe you're talking like this. Like, you guys as designers, just because I'm doing nails and you do clothes, it's along the same fine lines. It takes time. I have pages in my sketchbook of me writing stuff out, me notes that I'm sharing to my husband about different songs that I wanted, the timestamps, how I wanted it to sound. When I tell y'all, I was like doing so much research. I went back into old photos just so I could get that feel of the 90s, because I really wanted people to understand where I was coming from. I even went on Amazon the like 7 days before, and I ordered a Walkman and the headphones so she could have like the Walkman and headphones as props. Like, I really went in for this production. So all is not lost, because I told her, once you feel better, let's link up. I'm gonna find a photographer and we're gonna do something with these nails. These nails are not, a lost cause. So yeah, so that is pretty much why I didn't do Fashion Week. Basically, is because she got sick, and like I was explaining to the founders, I'm like, I'm not a licensed nail tech. I didn't go to school for this. This is creativity. This is art. This is a hobby. This is a passion. Whatever. Like, this is like a person that does graffiti on the street. Like, they got a certain time that they have to create this, and once it's done, it's done. It's like, it's no going back and doing it over again, because that's months and weeks or however long they created this mural on this building or whatever. And there was no way I felt like I was gonna allow myself to do that. My last job, so I haven't worked since 2019, but my last job, I was just like, yo, that's gonna be my last job, because I wasn't appreciated. I worked my ass off. I worked for that company for almost 4 years. I never got a raise, no nothing. The only time I seen extra money was when I did overtime. But it was just the fact that, when I said that this was going to be my last job without me even knowing that I was going to get laid off, I was just like, I'm going to do what I want to do. And when I do something, I'm not going to half-ass it, especially if my name is on it. Y'all are not going to put your name. And this is this is basic. Like, this is like signing a document without reading it. You're not going to sign your name on a document without reading it. I'm not going to create what I did for 2 weeks into a couple of hours and then put it on a runway. Like, I'm not doing that. And I don't know if they didn't understood that, or if they did understand that, but because people were dropping out like flies because they were just seeing how they were moving, they should have been accounted for that. Even though they shitted on me and they was acting really crazy, I still wanted them to have a successful show. Unfortunately, they did not have a successful show, according to some people behind the scenes. I do know somebody that went, and they said they had a good time at the show, so there you go. But I know the model was just like, she hasn't seen any footage from the show. Like, the only footage I've seen was of one designer, and that designer has like a billboard in Times Square. But that's the only footage I've seen. And of course, I can't see much because I am blocked. So I wish those two ladies the best. I hope that if they do have another show, they account for stuff that's like not under anybody's control. Like, if somebody has to pull out of the show, maybe they will write, you cannot get a refund or a partial refund up until after this time or whatever. So yeah, that was that. So this chapter is officially closed as today because PayPal denied me. I wasn't even trying to get the 150. I just really wanted to understand like where they were coming from, because I'm just like, if I do decide to use press on nails and I happen to use PayPal, but me, I probably won't go that route. If I do sell press-on nails, I will have a website and go through that angle or whatever. Not to say that people can't do chargebacks or whatever, but just having a website looks a little bit more authentic than paying through PayPal. I pretty much only use PayPal with family and like when I do my surveys, when I cash out, I get paid through PayPal or whatever. But anyway, I hope y'all enjoyed this story time. I should have a nail haul, the Temu and Shein stuff coming up on this Thursday, hopefully. Um, Trying to get all this stuff out there. And I hope you enjoy this nail set because I worked so hard on this nail set. Literally like ready to cry, just getting frustrated. My husband would be telling me, yo, why don't you step away? And I was just like, I can't step away because I would give myself a certain time a day and, certain time limit to work on the thing. And I'm like, every minute, every second counts. If I stop now, then, I lose time. So yeah. And today's the last day of Black History Month. So happy Black History Month to all of you that celebrate. And I hope you enjoy the festivities. And I guess you guys can say this is like my Black History Month nails because this goes back to the 90s. When I edit, I will go back and show the inspiration nail wise for this design. So shout out to Press by Tiny because she definitely influenced this nail set. And this nail set is dedicated to the 90s, the early 90s, Brooklyn. Stand up one time. So I gotta go because these kids is bugging out. But be good to you, be good to others, be careful out there with all that snow, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.